You do not need much for this project. All you're going to need is a pair of scissors, a pencil, a piece of crayon, and a ruler. You can even do this with just a piece of paper. However, I do suggest taking a crayon or any kind of marking tool and adding either color or some kind of distinguishing mark to one side of the paper. I think this helps to make it a little less confusing for students when you start folding this into the actual fortune teller itself. So just real quick, go over it. This will not really be visible either because we're going to do all the work on the other side. This is more of a helper. So get that colored in as best you can. And then you're going to begin your first fold. You're going to take the bottom edge of your paper and fold it along one side like a triangle. And this is a good space to start talking about different kinds of triangles if you're working on geometry. And the goal in this is to create a square because we're going to be working from a square. So we've got to get this bottom piece of the rectangle off. Give it a press. And then you're just going to cut off the top part that's not in the triangle, right up there. So make sure you ask your parents' permission first. Get your scissors out and cut away from your body very carefully to remove that bottom piece or top piece and make yourself a nice square. And look at there, hey, you got a bookmark. Put that off to the side and use it later. Again, great time to talk about different kinds of triangles. But to get started, we're just going to open this up and check out that nice crease. I suggest turning it counterclockwise to make it vertical. Take the bottom end of that paper and fold it up to create another triangle. You can also talk about shapes here like diamonds and squares. Press it down, open it back up. And see these two creases? We want to make them stand out a little bit more. So here's where the ruler is going to come into play, or any kind of straight edge. You could also just use a box of aluminum foil or parchment. Anything that's straight, a book is fine. But line it up as best you can along that crease. Find something to mark with. I'm going to use the crayon and go along the crease to make it more visible. Again, this is not something you have to do. I think that it is helpful though for students who have a difficult time with the folding. Again, line up that ruler, and you're learning good skills here with rulers as well. Trace along. And then also find the center point and add a dot. Again, these are just little tips for helping with folding. Now we're going to talk about mice and tight ropes. Pretend the bottom of that paper is a mouse, and that mouse is going to walk on a tightrope all the way up until it can get that treat. What is that, a blueberry? I don't know, maybe it's some, I don't think they make blue Skittles, do they? I don't know if mice would eat Skittles, but there we go. Let's try it again. Turn it counterclockwise, pick up that bottom piece, walk that mouse, the mouse is walking along the tightrope, and then it gets to the treat and stops, and press down with your thumb. I'm gonna speed it up real fast to finish it. Pick it up, fold it in. Hey, now look, you've got an envelope. You could send a letter. Turn it and fold. I also recommend having your students turn it consistently in one direction. I'm going counterclockwise here. Now that you have it folded, flip it over and check out the creases you have on the other side. Pull out that ruler again and go over them. It just helps to visualize. Again, turn it counterclockwise. It doesn't matter, it can be clockwise or counterclockwise. I just think it helps to keep consistency so students don't get tangled up while they are folding. We're gonna turn it counterclockwise one more time. Check out that diamond shape we have. And now we're gonna turn these diamonds at the bottom into triangles again. So fold it up fit it into that little triangle that you created with those lines. It's like a puzzle. Counterclockwise rotation, pick up the corner, and fit it in to the triangle. Now go a little bit faster here. And that's about all it is. Check out the diagrams I provided for you. And the next step is opening, which I will discuss. Okay, so when you're done, you're going to have something that looks like this. It's got these pockets on the back, and I apologize for the glare, it's kind of hard to see. These pockets on the back, and then it's got these flaps on the other side. These places are where you're going to write your fortune, you're going to color things, you're going to draw your numbers, all of that. This side is where you put your fingers to operate it. So, see if I have an example here. So we need to pop these things out. And it can be a little tricky, it can be a little frustrating. So a couple of tips I have found is to tell your students to really focus on creasing and folding. So starting with your square, folding in either direction is fine. Take and fold it in half like this. You can use your fingernail. You could put it on a table and run a marker across it. But open it, and now go the other direction. A little funky here. There you go. Really push it and crease it. Open it back up. And another trick is to encourage your students to use their non-dominant hand to kind of start pushing their fingers underneath it, because that's going to leave their stronger, more technically adapt, your hand that has more coordination to kind of help pop the thing out. So thumb and index finger under two slots here, and just try to kind of push them together, and you're trying to get this center part to go down. So starting there. It also helps if this side, I don't know if you can see it, this isn't very well creased still, so you can kind of come in and squeeze that together a little bit. And then move around to the side you haven't popped out yet. And try kind of squeezing that together. Again, look underneath. If it's not super creased, give it a good push. And once you feel like you're getting it to bend, put the other hand in. And there you have it. A functional fortune teller. But please do not be discouraged if you struggle when you are first trying to get this thing to open up like this, because it is not the simplest thing. I watched a lot of how-to videos and they just kind of popped them open, and I was like, that's not happening here. So definitely encourage your students to be patient, to focus on really creasing, moving slowly, and if they need to start again, starting again is fine too. But then there you have it, and you can open it up. You've got all these little folds to use for all kinds of all kinds of neat things. Or you have a puppet and you can pretend it's a dinosaur from Jurassic Park. Okay, have fun. I hope this is super helpful, or at least something fun to do with your students that can incorporate the arts into any subject really. Have fun and be creative. Bye guys.